Hello, Gogokid teachers. It's me, Teacher Christy, back with a new weekly update for the week of March 19th, 2019. So today, our weekly update covered a wide variety of topics. We got some new updates for some things coming, we got some reminders about some old things, and clarification on a hot button topic. Stay tuned for more. So, starting out our update today, we were reminded of a few new things that have happened in the past couple of weeks, and a little extra clarification was added. First and foremost, the time changes as a result of daylight savings time. Now, those of you that live in a daylight savings time area should have noticed by now that your peak time slots have now shifted ahead 1 hour. For example, my time zone is Eastern Standard in the United States. Before daylight savings time, my peak time was 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. every day. That was a 13-hour time difference from the peak hours in China, which are 7 to 9 p.m. With the daylight savings time change, our times have now adjusted forward. We are now only 12 hours different from China as opposed to 13. My new peak time hours, Eastern Standard Time, are 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Now, Gogokid has told us that they have noticed a decline in the number of 8 and 8:30 p.m. Beijing time slots being opened since this time change went into effect. Now, these are, of course, very popular times for students to take classes because they are part of our peak time hours. So they are asking that teachers who are available to teach please open this 8 and 8:30 p.m. Beijing time slots on your schedule. To find out the corresponding Beijing time for each of your slots, all you have to do is take your mouse, hover over the individual slot in your schedule, and you will get a pop-up that tells you your local time as well as Beijing time for each of those time slots. This is a highly bookable time during our teaching days, so if you're available, it is definitely in your interest to open as many of these slots as possible. Second up in our update today is a reminder about requesting an appeal for cancellations and no shows. Now, just a couple of weeks ago, we were told the new updated procedures for both cancellations and no shows, but please remember that Gogokid always has an appeals process available to you if you believe that your cancellation or your no show were due to justifiable reasons. All you have to do is make sure that you send an email or a ticket to Gogokid within 48 hours of the time that you cancel the class for a cancellation or the start time of the class for a teacher no-show. In this email, you need to be sure that you include your registered email with Gogokid, your Gogokid show name, a detailed explanation of why you had to cancel or no-show the class, the affected class IDs, and screenshots or documentation to support your claim if you have these things available. Now, if you don't have the documentation at the time of the email, that is okay. Keep in mind that Gogokid will give you up to 30 days if needed to obtain whatever documentation you need to support your claim, but that initial email must be sent within 48 hours of cancellation time for cancellations or class start time for a no-show in order for you to begin that appeals process. If you don't send this email within the required time frame, you will not be considered for an appeal. If you want more information about this procedure, you can click the link found in the update and read the entire procedure for requesting the appeal, or you can ask a question down below and I will answer it to the best of my ability. Third up in our weekly update is our bit of a hot button topic. This has been discussed a lot on Facebook lately, and that is the use of secondary rewards. Here in our weekly update this week, Gogokid is reminding us that a secondary reward is a requirement for teaching classes here at Gogokid, but they are giving us a tremendous amount of creative freedom for what type of secondary reward we would like to use in the class. You need to make sure that you are using your rewards to their fullest potential, that you are always giving all 5 stars by the end of class, and that you are choosing a secondary reward that ideally is engaging and interesting to the student. Beyond that, there really are not many other guidelines for the secondary reward that you use. You have a lot of freedom and a lot of ability to use what works for you and what works for your student. Some people are very crafty and like to create their own reward systems from scratch. That is definitely not me. Some people like pre-made rewards, like the kind you can find in the Target dollar spot or in some other stores, even some things that you can buy from Teachers Pay Teachers or find elsewhere in other Facebook groups that you just have to download and print. There are even some free secondary reward systems available on Freshdesk. So all you have to do is figure out what works best for you, what works best for your students, and go from there. You do not have to have a huge assortment of secondary reward systems. It's okay if you just have a small handful, maybe even just a couple, and you rotate through those with each class. That is not a problem at all. Just make sure that you always have a secondary reward and that you use it in every Gogokid class that you teach. This does also include any project or assessment classes as well. In our weekly update, Gogokid also included the link to a video made by one of our workshop coaches, Teacher Dawn, that goes through the importance of why we use reward systems and also includes some really great suggestions for additional reward systems you can use in your classroom if you're interested in some more tips and tricks for how to incorporate a reward system into your classroom. And finally, our last piece of the weekly update is a new feature coming to our portal this week. The IT button has been updated and streamlined a bit. There are 4 basic steps in requesting IT help should you experience any issues while you're in the classroom. Step number 1 is always to hit the refresh button in Google Chrome. I have found that personally this fixes about 80 to 90% of IT issues that I'm experiencing, especially if they are related to video or sound. Simply refreshing the classroom reconnects all of those video and sound issues and solves the majority of my IT problems related to video or sound. If refresh does not work, you can then go ahead and move forward with your IT request. Step 2 would be selecting whether the issue is occurring on the teacher or the student side. All you need to do is click the word teacher or click the word student, and the appropriate selection will become a darker shade of blue. Then you can choose a detailed explanation of what your issue is. There are several different options to choose from. These options have been updated a little bit to add a little bit more variety to the issues. There is also an other issues selection if the issue you're experiencing is not included in the list. Please notice that there is no longer an option for a student absence in the IT selection. Gogokid does not need to be notified if the student is absent. All you need to do is wait your required amount of time, 15 minutes for a trial, 25 minutes for a core class, and then you can exit if your student does not arrive during those wait time periods. And the final step, while you are waiting on IT, Gogokid really wants to encourage us to continue teaching the lesson to the very best of our ability. If you can continue on through the slides and the curriculum, please continue to do that the best that you can until IT arrives. If for some reason you have an IT issue that is preventing you from working your way through the slides and teaching the information to the student, they do want us to do our best to interact with the student as best as possible while we're waiting for IT help. This can be done by using the chat box to communicate. The whiteboard is also another great option. Just jump on over to the whiteboard. You can write words, you can draw pictures, you can use content that you know is coming from the lesson. I found the whiteboard is a great place to still get a little bit of curriculum based instruction in, even if someone's video or sound is not working. So, drawing and interacting on that whiteboard is a great way to fill this wait time while you're waiting on IT to arrive. Please do keep in mind that IT is very busy, especially during peak time hours. They will address each help request in the order in which they are received, and they will do their very, very best to get to your classroom just as soon as they can. But please know that they are often very, very busy. Please do not submit your help button more than once. That can slow the process down, and it could even possibly bump you a little bit later in the queue for receiving help. So please make sure that you only issue that request once and wait as patiently as possible until IT is able to come and help. So that sums it up for this week's weekly update with Gogokid. If you have any questions or you want any further clarification on anything that we have discussed today, please drop me a note or send me an email. I'd be glad to help you as best as I can. If you are not a current Gogokid teacher and you are interested in applying, it would be my pleasure to help coach you through the process. All you need to do is click the link down below or send me an email and I will help you get started. I have tons of resources and material available to help support teachers through all phases of the application, onboarding, and beginning to teach with the company. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already done so and you like what you've seen today, please hit the subscribe, the notification button, click all the buttons, do all the things, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.